Sandy, we're told that some members of the Watson family have been informed. What can you gauge from your position there?
I'm outside Gavin Watson's family home here in Port Elizabeth. There are no cars in the driveway, if you can see behind me, and it's very quiet here. There is no movement whatsoever. It doesn't look like anybody is at home right now.
Sandy, in terms of what you've been able to gauge on the phone, it's one of the jobs we hate as journalists, but have we been able to speak to any of the family members thus far?
At the moment, the family are not commenting. They're saying that they are needing time to just get to grips as to what has happened. So all we can tell you right now is that the house is very empty. I have spoken to the neighbours, and the neighbours say that Gavin Watson comes home every weekend. He works in Joburg during the week, and every weekend he then flies to Port Elizabeth to spend his weekend here at his family home. So the neighbours themselves are quite shocked here, and yeah, everyone is quite shocked around here. The neighbourhood is very quiet at the moment, especially this house.
Sandy, when all of the evidence emerged around Bosasa and its involvement in corruption at the state capture inquiry, you did a story, Where in the World is Gavin Watson? Because we'd been so unable to get hold of him, unable to really get him on camera. What did you learn about Gavin Watson, the man, in your research around that story?
He's a very interesting character and has a very interesting history, especially here in Port Elizabeth. His family has very deep roots in the Eastern Cape. When they were in the 1980s, his brother Cheeky Watson declined to play for the Springboks. Instead, he decided to join the KwaZulu Rugby Union. Now, during that time, the three boys, Gavin, Valence and Cheeky, would literally lie down on the bottom of a taxi so that they could go into the township so that they could play rugby. At the time, there was no one who was allowed to play rugby. It was very much a time where there was a segregation, so it was very, very difficult for them to get to the rugby fields, to the stadiums to play their rugby matches. But because of this, they were seen as absolute heroes in this part of the world. They were seen as struggle heroes, and they built their empire on their struggle hero, their struggle hero
sort of credentials
that everyone sees them as.
Yeah. All right, well, thanks very much for that, Sandy. You'll no doubt continue to track that story for us from outside the Watson home in Port Elizabeth. We were bringing you live visuals as well from the scene of that accident, where we see sweeping mop-up sort of operations are taking place there. Police and other officials clearing the scene